Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's the Star Wars Nerd here. This is my recap and review of the first episode of the Bad Batch series on Disney+. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, this is your spoiler warning because after this, we're getting straight into spoilers. So, if you haven't been able to watch the episode yet, go get on that and then come back and watch my video. Also, if you just want my review, then skip to this time in the video. Alright, now let's get right into the video. So the episode starts on the planet Kaller, and we're watching Jedi Master Deepa Billaba and her faction of clone troopers fight off an incoming battalion of droids. We see Deepa's Padawan come running in from behind, and he's shortly followed by his reinforcements he acquired. What's interesting about the Padawan is that his name is Caleb Dume. Now that might not seem interesting to most people, but Caleb Dume is actually the birth name of Kanan Jarrus from Star Wars Rebels. So anyways, the reinforcements that Caleb brought is Clone Force 99, which we know is the Bad Batch. They eliminate the whole army of droids with ease, but then right after this, Order 66 is given. I honestly think seeing Order 66 again, but this time in a different way, is super interesting, and I love seeing how it played out further along in the episode. Clone Force 99, on the other hand, did not process the order at all, as Tech hypothesized later in the show. The manipulation of DNA in Clone Force 99, according to Tech's study, is most likely the reason they didn't succumb to Order 66. Even though Echo was the only one of the squad who wasn't a genetically enhanced clone, Tech said that the harm he previously suffered on Skako Minor resembled that of a genetically enhanced clone. Order 66, on the other hand, seemed to impact Crosshair in some way not long after it was ordered. Caleb Dume fled into the jungle, but Hunter used Crosshair to track him down and to assist him. When they finally saw him, Crosshair opened fire on Dume. Hunter asked Crosshair about it, but he maintains their following instructions, saying, "Good soldiers follow orders," which is a line we've heard previously from Tup in the Clone Wars when his inhibitor chip activated prematurely. After being shot at, Dume struck back and managed to kick Crosshair into a tree, knocking him out for the time being. Hunter pursued Dume and met up with him on a cliff face, where Hunter managed to persuade him to consider Hunter's assistance. Dume resisted before successfully fleeing by diving over a wide chasm to escape a deep river below. Hunter lied to Crosshair, claiming that when he landed, he shocked the Jedi and that Dume didn't survive the fall. Clone Force 99 returned to their homeworld of Kamino after the incident on Kaller. Clone Force 99 heard that the war was over not long after they arrived. Clone Force 99 joined other clones at a massive meeting where they saw a hologram of Palpatine's notorious speech to the Galactic Senate from Revenge of the Sith, which ended the Republic and founded the Galactic Empire. This included more concrete evidence on where the Bad Batch occurs in the Star Wars timeline. Clone Force 99 and Omega met in a Kamino hallway shortly after hearing the speech. Nala Se approached after a short discussion and explained that Omega was her medical assistant before departing with her. Admiral Tarkin, who is to be identified as Grand Moff Tarkin, arrived elsewhere on Kamino. Tarkin met with Nala Se and Prime Minister Lama Su shortly after his arrival to clarify that their former cloning deal was with the Republic, which no longer exists. Tarkin claimed that the Empire's interest had shifted and that the potential clones were no longer needed. Clone Force 99 arrived in the cafeteria to get some food and was joined by Omega on the spot. Omega flung food at some nearby clones after they passed by and hurled slurs at the party, including calling them the Sad Batch. Hunter tried to calm things down, but Wrecker soon upped the situation and there was an all-out brawl in the cafeteria between Clone Force 99 and the other clones present. One of the clones hit Echo in the head with a serving tray during the brawl, and the scene cuts to Echo waking up in a hospital bay. As Echo realized he was being scanned by a droid, he sprang from his seat and dashed out of the room with the rest of Clone Force 99. Clone Force 99 was told by one of the shock troopers in the corridor that they wanted to grab their gear so they could be checked in a combat situation. The simulation was overseen by Admiral Tarkin, who abruptly planned to switch the simulation to live ammo when Clone Force 99 was doing well. Clone Force 99 was given larger droids to fight, and a live round soon hit Wrecker. Though it seemed to be hopeless at the time, Tech was able to take hold of one of the simulation droids and use it to reverse the tide and bring them to victory. Following the simulation, Admiral Tarkin confronted Clone Force 99 and assigned them the task of heading to Onderon region to destroy the Separatist forces and insurgents. Omega confronted Hunter just before they were about to depart to Onderon, pleading for her to accompany them and claiming she didn't trust Admiral Tarkin. Although Omega warned Hunter that Kamino was no longer safe, Hunter ignored her warning and continued on with Clone Force 99 on their quest. Clone Force 99 soon discovered that their assignment had them pursuing a party of men, women, children, and the elderly rather than separatist droids when they arrived in Onderon. Crosshair pressured Hunter to issue the order so he could open fire on an old lady, but Hunter refused and knew they were surrounded. Clone Force 99 surrendered their guns and surrendered to none other than Saw Gerrera. He is quickly known in the episode as someone taught by Captain Rex and Anakin Skywalker. Hunter concluded that these people were not a threat after speaking with Gerrera about the situation, and he opted not to carry out their instructions to kill the civilians. Crosshair struck back and demanded that they obey the instructions, but Hunter refused to budge. Hunter found and destroyed an Imperial probe droid spying on them just before they left Onderon. Tech discovered that Omega was an upgraded clone like them as Clone Force 99 prepared to abandon Onderon. As a result, despite the risk, Hunter insisted that they return to Kamino in order to save Omega. Clone Force 99 was ambushed by a battalion of shock troopers and Admiral Tarkin shortly after landing on Kamino and entering the hangar. Their actions during the mission were deemed treasonous by Admiral Tarkin, and he ordered them to be thrown in the brig. Fortunately, they found Omega already in the brig when they were thrown in. Crosshair was taken from the cell and cared for by Nala Se and Admiral Tarkin as Clone Force 99 devised a plot to escape. Nala Se was able to upgrade his inhibitor chip and intensify the programming at Tarkin's request after seeing Crosshair appear to demonstrate some allegiance to the Empire when he tried to obey Order 66. Tech examined a vulnerable spot in the cell that Wrecker was able to punch hard enough to make a slight hole in the back of the brig. Omega crawled through the hole and landed on the other side, momentarily knocking out the guards and giving her enough time to pull the trigger and unlock the cell. Clone Force 99's remaining members finished off the guards and made their way to the hangar, where they planned to retrieve their belongings, locate Crosshair, and flee as a group. As they were getting ready in the hangar, the doors unlocked and a squad of shock troopers entered, followed by Crosshair in Imperial uniform, who had now joined the Empire. Crosshair fired the first shot after a tense standoff between Crosshair and Hunter, triggering a firefight between Crosshair and the shock troopers and the remaining members of the Clone Force 99. Crosshair told them to close the hangar doors to avoid Clone Force 99 from fleeing, but they didn't succeed, and another shot showed Nala Se leaving them open. After a tense struggle in which Wrecker seemed to be seriously injured, Omega fired a random shot that destroyed Crosshair's gun, allowing them to flee. Another scene saw Nala Se approaching Prime Minister Lama Su and informing him that the remaining Clone Force 99, as well as Omega, had fled. "Say little until the Empire's motives are made clear," the Prime Minister replied. He seemed to be discussing Omega's escape at the time, but the topic was left unclear. Omega, along with Hunter, Echo, Wrecker, and Tech, had fled back to their ship. Hunter advised him to plot a course for J-19 because, "we know a guy," after Omega mentioned that they wanted to meet with their friends. The ship activated their hyperdrive and blasted into hyperspace, with J-19 as their target in the final moments of the show. Honestly, I was very surprised at how good this first episode was. I didn't have any real expectations for this show, and I was very happy with this episode. The best parts of this episode for me was getting to see how Order 66 affected the Bad Batch and especially Crosshair. We got to see some of this type of stuff in the final episodes of Season 7 of the Clone Wars, but we didn't get to see this much depth to how the clones reacted to Order 66. I also really liked being able to see pre-Rogue One and Rebels Saw Gerrera, even if it was just for like a few moments. We also got to see Tarkin again, which was really cool, and you really get to see how evil he really was in this episode. We get to see some of that in Rogue One and a little bit in New Hope, but I feel like he was even more evil in this episode, especially when he used those live rounds in the Bad Batch. The only real gripe I have with this show so far is I don't really care that much for Omega. She doesn't really play that big of a role yet, and she's honestly pretty annoying for most of this episode. I'm also kind of confused on how there can be a female clone because Jango Fett was a template for the clones and he was a male. But I'm assuming that we're probably going to see more of her backstory as the series progresses. Another great thing about this episode was how good the fight scenes were. It truly felt like I was watching the Clone Wars again, and I loved it. I'm also really excited to see how this series is going to do, and I'm really excited for more episodes now. I'll probably give this episode a 7.5 out of 10. It was a great start to the series. And before I end this video, I just want to say Happy May the 4th to everyone. This day is so amazing in so many ways for Star Wars fans across the world. If you're like me, I'm sure you're watching the movies all day long and doing as many Star Wars activities as you can. It's just really crazy to think about how lucky we are to be able to experience these special stories and characters during our lifetime. Thank you to George Lucas and everyone else who's brought this universe to life and given us fans something to think about and talk about day after day. The futures are bright for Star Wars, and I just can't wait for everything we will be getting very soon. If you liked this video, please hit that thumbs up button and maybe consider subscribing. Come back to my channel every week for reviews and other Star Wars related videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your May the 4th.